Hashi, are we listening to a sound effects CD?
Oh, yeah. I just love to listen to this before the show. This is the Lucasfilm sound effects collection, the animal disc in it. All the animals on that disc personally caressed by Academy Award winner Bird. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Welcome to VFX and Chill, where all the animals were personally caressed by Ben Burt. We are so thrilled.
He's the voice of Wally.
So thrilled. Michael, you're back.
Michael is back.
I am back, and I'm so excited to get into what we're doing today, because today is going to be great. Last week was great, even though I missed it, but today's going to be great too. Should we talk about last week?
Yeah. I mean, speaking
what a
of
segue.
Paramount.
Perfect. Hashi, talk about last week for a second.
All right. Well, last week, you all, if you came to watch the show, were part of Twitter history as we created our amazing trailer for Mission in Hospital, which was our concept of
we haven't said it out loud a whole lot.
We haven't.
When I hear it out loud, it makes me really happy.
Mission in Hospital. So, yeah, we were able to pull together that clip, which we didn't get finished on the show, but we always, every single time, get all of our work done the next week and share it with you here. Definitely time. All the time.
Reliable.
But anyway, I think it came together incredibly well. I feel like we used a couple of really great techniques and we got into a great groove. Seth carried like 40 shots out of this. I contributed like 6.
Well, all your favorite ones were Hashi's 6 shots. I will say a big thank you to Chris Vranos, who made Lockdown, which was responsible for 90%
instrumental.
Of my work. Yeah, huge. If you want to watch and see how we used Lockdown for a lot of stuff in it, go watch last week's show. But watch this week's show right now.
Absolutely.
Other thing was Photoshop's generative fill. That
oh yeah.
The whole the first time I realized that it was gonna work was first time I tried it was on the Henry Cerny shot at the beginning where you had the genius idea to put X-rays behind him and make him a doctor, and so I just brought
it really ties everything together. It establishes our premise.
It does
visually without changing a thing, and
I literally just locked down his body. Sent a frame over to Photoshop and did generative fill and just told it doctor's uniform with stethoscope, and it gave me that, and it's I was like, okay, things are totally different now. This rules. Let's stop talking about it.
Without further ado, guys, let's enjoy this thing.
Get ready to enjoy this.
This mission of yours is gonna cost you dearly.
It's been a long time, Van.
Ethan, what's your objective? What's your ultimate objective?
Your life will always matter more to me than my own.
None of our lives can matter more than this mission.
I don't accept that.
We did it.
My goodness.
It's so good. Who made Tom Cruise wince when she goes in for that cuddle?
Oh, that's a whirly joint right there.
Because he kind of smiles in the trailer, but winces in the real. It's so good.
There are so many phenomenal moments in it.
There are the adjustment layer. That wince was an adjustment layer in the Lockdown pre-comp. And so I was able to.
It works for everything.
Because his face was stabilized in that pre-comp, I'm able to put an adjustment layer with Liquify. And Hashi is the big, evangelist for Liquify, and I frequently forget to use it to fix frames.
Use Liquify for your frame fixes.
Yeah.
By the way, if y'all want to see this, If you all want to see this video again, the link is in the chat.
And let's do it.
This mission of yours is gonna cost you dearly.
All right, fine. Michael convinced me we have work to do.
Fine. It's true. But I'm going to share my screen real quick just because because I'm a show off, but
show off.
But this is lovely. Like, look at this. So
I thought you were gonna have After Effects open. Like, I'm gonna show off how I did this shot, I'm gonna show off how many people have watched it.
Let's show it off. So right now we're at almost a quarter mil, guys, which is great. So thank you all for contributing to this.
Like just on Twitter.
Meme. Just on Twitter. And then
it's not enough.
Todd Ziri chiming in.
It's not enough. I need everyone here to retweet it.
More.
Everyone to retweet it. Feel free to use the Kylo Ren more GIF, or just say VFX and Chill made me retweet this. Go for it.
Its own little mini memes. And
you can tweet
one thing that I love to do is to look at anyone who quote tweeted it, Seth. It's a really good boost to.
It's so fun. We got what's his name who ran who show ran. We have Darkwing Disco Terry Metalis who show ran Picard, which I am still halfway through. That's nuts.
So, it seems that most people would just like to see this movie, which I think would be. A good plan. So it's a lot of possible people, that we're going to have to camp out and ask, Chris McQuarrie for all of the original plates so we can go through and do our own pass.
Honestly, just the same movie, but we just have him increasingly injured. I think it would actually be, very successful for everyone involved. I sent this trailer to my friend Ryan DeGiorgi, who he's a writer and director for the Jackbox games. He introduced me years ago to.
All right, I can stop my screen share.
Oh, well, he introduced me years ago to the Frank Burley novels by John Swartzwelder, which you should look them up. They're like if Homer Simpson were a detective. They're like hard-boiled detective stories about a complete idiot, and they're some of my favorite books alive. And I sent him this saying, "This is the closest we're going to get to a Frank Burley movie," because in those books, he's just consistently getting the shit kicked out of him, and he's always injured, and it's always funny. And so yeah, I think we've covered a brand new addiction we have, which is to add injury to insult.
I mean, that's the name of the series, clearly.
Injury to insults.
I don't know what insult means. It doesn't make any sense. But,
me either. No, but
it's catchy sounding.
It is.
But Tom Cruise is still making these movies at 60, which is crazy.
Crazy.
And even through injuries, famously, working through injuries to get these films made. But you know what I would love? Is there any other franchise out there, like an action franchise with a male lead that's 20 years older?
I mean, that's what I feel like. I'm watching these and I'm like, Tom Cruise isn't old enough. I need someone older, which I guess does.
I don't need a 60-year-old. Yeah. I need an 80-year-old because 80 is the new 60.
My OBS transition was turned off for this, so it just hard cut to the screen.
Hard cut.
Welcome to the name of the show, the name of the game this week.
Hard cuts.
Hard cut. Indiana Jones. Hard cut. Cuts. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yeah, so we're doing Indiana Jones stuff today because we're into Indiana Jones stuff.
Absolutely. And who watches the show is not an Indiana Jones fan. Indiana Jones is like a touch point for cinema, for action, for Harrison Ford, for Lucas and Spielberg collabs.
For that guy.
I absolutely love Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade are some of my favorite films. They're so good. Temple
of Doom is definitely, when you watch them all back to back, Temple of Doom and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull obviously feel lacking. However, Temple of Doom has some of...
Short Round. I love Short Round in
the... Ke Huy Quan is great. Yes. And there are some incredible sequences in that movie. The minecart chase in that movie, the
iconic.
Entire
everyone thinks minecart chase with Indiana Jones.
It's so good.
It established a whole new type of action.
God, we should do it. Well, we should do a whole entire episode on the minecart chase and try and recreate it using stupid things. Because
I agree. Let's do that now.
Okay, done. We literally prepped a whole other show, but we're gonna bring you stupid minecart chase. What are we doing today?
Well, I mean, just in general, like Indiana Jones. I mean, it was a perfect like lightning in a bottle situation of really great creators, a great action star, all coming together with innovative filmmakers. And I mean, among other things, it was they all had a bunch of visual effects in them, or special effects at the time, that were groundbreaking and new to seeing in that type of format. And so I think that we should honor some of the visual effects in Indiana Jones, specifically focusing on one of my favorite elements, which is the comeuppance that any bad guy gets. So, spoiler alert for the Indiana Jones films.
Bad guys occasionally die gruesomely.
The bad guys occasionally die.
Woo.
And they don't just die. Like, you're not going to, get stabbed and fall off screen. You're going to be crushed by a rock crusher or eaten by ants, have your heart ripped out, age, 50 years in an instant. What am I missing? Oh, wait, there's that one. What was that first movie that didn't have Indiana Jones in the title?
Raiders of the Lost Ark, I believe. And it has the melty melt faces in it. Also,
melty face.
I should have built up to it. It has a freaking propeller, a dude going into a airplane propeller.
Kidding.
It's got dudes getting run over by trucks, thrown off cliffs,
and a lot of punching of Nazis.
It is a wonderfully psychopathic. No, what's the term?
Indulgent,
sadistic, utterly sadistic, delightfully sadistic movie in the ways that it creatively kills off Nazis. The nature's most empirical bad guy.
I mean, yeah. If you're Spielberg making a movie that you want, so I mean, like it's the original. I completely blanked on the name.
It's the original Scream.
Inglourious Basterds.
No. Yeah, and Scream.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and so if you want to get your face melted, look directly into a mystical, magical object.
Directly into
it.
I seem to recall we have a free template for this.
Wait a second. Wait, so we've covered this already? What are we adding to it today?
Well, hey,
I don't know.
First off, let's talk about what came before.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Could we possibly have a promo of the original template we could play?
Oh, that would be so much more efficient.
Maybe if you shut up, Michael.
You want to melt some faces in After Effects?
How hard can it be?
It's easy with the Template of Doom, powered by the Trapcode Suite. Film yourself doing this in a medium close-up on a green screen or keyable surface. Then bring that cursed footage into the Template of Doom, where you can time it, key it, place some simple guides and mess with a few sliders,
Stop it.
run content-aware fill with these settings, and then sit back while the template basically takes care of the rest. Click on the link to learn even more about how this was made.
Nice.
The template is free, as are trials of all the software you would need to do this. So follow the link in the description and then tag us with your melty-faced videos.
Just do it. It's really cool.
Just do it. I think we're done here.
And the link for that is in the chat right now, and it will be in the video description shortly.
Oh, I love it. And please do melt your face and send it at us. We do love seeing a good, melted face when we can.
Do melt your face.
Yes, but Seth, you and I have been learning a lot about Cinema 4D, and which we picked at random. But I don't know where I'm going with this, other than we've learned a lot, and that face melt tutorial does as much as it can to emulate that look, but also it's not really an actual 3D effect. It's a purely 2D, little cheating and some weird post effect kind of stuff, but a fun result. And the original, of course, made by like Spielberg himself out of crayons and stuff.
All by his lonesome. Yeah.
No, I'm joking. It was made. I should have pulled up the amazing artists who built that the layered.
It was Richard. Was it Edlin?
Oh, Yoda.
No, it was Edlin, wasn't it? Which is the dark-haired one with the glasses? Who did the Star Trek font?
Go look it up. We'll wait.
Okay.
No, actually,
Richard Edlin.
I feel like
I was
should have
correct.
grabbed the clip of the melting faces. I don't think we have.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. You've
Everyone's
all
seen
it.
Here, well,
It
you want to
looks
see a melting face? Here, we'll just pull one up that sucks. So if you want to see a bad version, this is the version I was trying to do today, with no such luck. And look, my texture isn't working. Garage shade.
All we see is our faces, so it's fine.
Yeah, because I messed it up. Link. So let's see. What are we doing? I got lost.
Well, yeah. I mean, like while you pull up thing, get your thing cached, whatever. The plan today is to try to run through a process of doing an effect similar to this in Cinema 4D, beginning with a 3D scan of your head, which you can try to melt and warp and tear off of your skull face. So we're going to do some interesting stuff. We don't even know what the result is going to be, which is the VFX and chill guarantee.
Are we going to invent a new MPAA rating like Indiana Jones did?
That's
I think
always
that
the goal.
Yeah, I mean, pioneered visual effects and MPAA ratings. Wait, look up that history, kids.
Well, so here, if you can see my screen, just want to show an example of what we were messing around with yesterday. I could not get it to anywhere near where you're going to get it, but this is what I started working with today.
Ooh.
And it won't play in real time, obviously, but it melts me down to a skull.
Too hot to handle.
And obviously we've got even cooler versions of this and I know we explored some different things yesterday. You had some really cool results that you were getting. But obviously to start with this, I'm using this to help us segue into the thing that we need to get to, which is in order to melt ourselves in cinema, we need ourselves, right? We need the actual
we do need ourselves
head model.
It's a very
while that one was a dead ringer for you, Seth, I do feel like it's possible to achieve something better than that in cinema.
Better than this?
Well, I don't know. Better than that. To be fair,
I like the glasses are melting too.
I mean, see, that's the beauty of the Indiana Jones gruesome deaths. Is they're just like, what might happen if someone's face melted off?
Yeah,
it's beautiful. So a little while ago,
the chat is already suggesting fun things. Pyro with negative buoyancy is Frigby's suggestion.
Yeah, I didn't get to put Pyro in. I really want to do today. I'm going to try. I'm going to try some things that I don't think are going to work. I just want to break stuff.
Pyro with negative buoyancy. Pyro with negative buoyancy does give some really nice liquidy effects. There's some really cool tutorials out there.
I'm going to try that, and the setup that I have could definitely use that.
But the setup you have, Hash, first we got to make a you, right?
We do got to make a me. If you want to go to my screen.
You want to play the clip or just go to your screen?
Well, we can go to my screen so you can see this weird end results, because I did this a few weeks ago and posted this on the Twitters, which people seem to, or not on Twitter, on the TikTok, which people seem to really enjoy. My digital double.
Finally, they enjoyed something. No one on TikTok likes us.
Something. We keep on throwing stuff on a TikTok, hoping that someone will bite. But anyway, we thought we would talk a little bit about the process of getting a better 3D representation of yourself. That, like, I know that the one that you just showed, Seth, was quite faithful, but I feel like we could improve.
Look at that hair. That's some good hair, dude.
We did the hair in Cinema 4D.
That is a really good hair.
There.
That looks like
the standard renderer, by the way.
It's not just good hair.
I haven't even jumped into some like redshift and subsurface.
Dude, it's not just good hair. It's well styled.
It looks like your hair.
Like legitimately, if you walked into a room with your hair looking like that, I'd be like, "Gosh, you're looking mighty fine today."
Out Jogging Pictures is asking, how can you do the hair growing from The Last Crusade? Pretty easily.
Yeah, just from and to
the hair.
with hair. Also, yeah.
Like you can just keyframe the length of hair in Cinema 4D and you've just got it. But first, you need a head. Like
it's alive. Kill it.
I had nearly forgotten that this was alive because
it's AI.
Like, I really had, because I forgot that we've also been playing with moves by Max.
It's just a little too alive. Like
it's a little.
I need it to be more alive or less alive.
More alive or less alive. This is
less alive.
Okay, now I'm becoming a Sims character, which is fine.
Finally.
So really what you need is really good blend shapes that actually look like your facial expressions once you map them to moves by Maxon. You could watch our, did we call it Moves by MODOK? Was that the title of the episode?
I believe it was.
Where we played around a little bit more distinctly with moves by Maxon. So we make some really cool stuff that allows you to do facial capture and things of that nature. But today we wanted to talk about photogrammetry as an approach, which is also available in Moves by Maxon. But you'll see in this lovely pre-recorded clip that it didn't exactly work out because of me being only one person trying to scan themselves as the subject. Didn't quite work. Anything else?
It's important if you're melting a face, or just in general, it's important to have a good head. Like you need good head model to start with.
Absolutely.
So how do you get this good of a head?
Well, everyone out there is looking for a great scanning option, and let's take a look at past me. We're going to play a little pre-recorded clip of me creating a little scan that we're going to use today.
Here we go.
Hey everyone, it's me, but from yesterday. We're here in my studio, and I'm setting up a little reality capture of my head. But I want to get a nice orbit of my head in a scary, scared because I've looked into the Ark of the Covenant kind of face.
The longer you take, the longer we get to eat lunch during the show. So
that's a very good point. So to do this, just follow these simple steps. Get yourself a selfie stick up here. We got our selfie stick, camera mount on that side, and this foam core background on this side. Then you very professionally take your camera, Moves by Maxon, load it up, and fit it into said holder. Make sure that the holder itself doesn't press down on the shutter button, because that would be ridiculous. And then see how heavy your camera is compared to the foam board, which it's too heavy. So in that case, you look around your office for things like, say, these headphones, and see if they're as heavy as the phone, and they're not heavy enough. So you put them further out, because that's science. That. See, the further I put these out, the heavier they become to this. It's a whole lever can lift the world situation. What else do I got? I got a jar of bolts. That's probably a bad idea. I got a hammer.
Yes, let's introduce a hammer into this situation.
Right above the water bed.
This is...
Here we go.
Nitroglycerin.
Look at that. Here, it's a nice little orbital mount for a camera. It's heavy enough, and I've used it once. So,
always meant to be used as a counterweight to a makeshift 360 scan rig. You're standing on the waterbed. My God.
I mean, these are the sacrifices filmmakers
to go viral,
like us have to make.
It really does feel like you've just set yourself up for a viral video of you falling.
I'm positive that our legal department would advise against standing on a waterbed that you built yourself, by the way, to tape a selfie stick to the ceiling.
I love that you keep just slowly unpeeling the onion of the waterbed, like all the layers. It's not all one fell swoop. Also, this bed is a waterbed. Also, I made it myself. Also, it's filled with gasoline.
It's a better swish, I find.
Yeah. And
the fragrance. Very soothing
fume
Yeah.
sensation. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm trying to find out if this heavy object will act as a hook anywhere, because it did last time. But I don't really remember what I did. I mean, I have a video of it, but I can't look it up. I'm filming and standing out of a water full of gasoline. And that could be good. Look at that. Professional.
Yeah.
Look at this, everyone. So now I have a little cone in which I can stand. The more dramatic this angle is, though, the less space I have.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a situation right now in which you don't get slapped by that poster board.
Oh, you're going to get slapped by a board or two.
When you're trying to challenge the universe's alignment toward your luck, you're always going to get hit.
This is why we go to film school, everyone. Oh my gosh. Why did I think this would come together any fast?
I don't know. But the fact that you're using masking tape, it's like you've chosen like as weak and volatile resources as you possibly can.
Could a non-filmmaker pull this off, though? No, I think not.
Hashi, why do you need the pencil like pole? Why can't you just attach the string to the end of the pole? It's not like the backdrop's going to bend.
Well, the backdrop would, like, this gives it a bit of a, it'll look, here we go.
Oh, I see. It's less inclined to twist.
Exactly. So we've got our little Pathé logo animation right here. I'm going to take off this foil. This is behind the scenes of how I look so good on the show.
Do you have a clothes hanger hanging up for decoration on your wall?
Well, that's where I put my jacket.
It's only there to confuse us.
I've also framed it perfectly between
Exactly.
the makeshift dowel that I used when I needed some kind of rigid object that could space out the strings of this.
That's what I was thinking. It was like, wait, that's not even part of the rig.
It's a part of a little film that Jamie was making a while ago when we had you could hang spaceships in front of that LED background,
Oh, nice.
our own motion volume, as it were. All right, let's then. After that simple step, you go to the
The camera.
Moves by Maxon app.
Oh,
Right in your Moves by Maxon app, there's this little timer button, which means you don't have to manually keep on tapping the button to take pictures. You can just press the timer, and it'll take little incremental pictures. So I'm going to try to do that while this orbits around me. Oh, it's already taken a picture. Now I've got to make my expression. Timer is so slow.
and that backdrop does not cover your.
No. Okay. New theory.
I love that when your head gets covered, the camera just gives up and moves away as if to shield you from humiliation.
I'm going to switch over to my camera. I'm going to focus lock on my hand here. Focus and exposure lock on the hand. Thank you for watching, by the way, y'all.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah. Thank you, people.
And Seth. Seth is always watching through this live feed camera. I don't know who installed it, how
Turn it
it's
off.
up, but it's eerie.
I love that you got the VFX and Chill logo hanging up over there. Like, we could hang it front and top in this frame and just slowly rebuild our OBS scene.
So my wife made this.
For some reason, the way we have this set up in OBS, you want to flip it because I didn't realize your image was flipped in OBS.
Well, yeah. So
There we go. Oh, it's red on the other side. Oh, this is trippy. I see.
it's red. So like if you see it at an angle, it looks like our logo.
Still determined not to edit this.
Okay.
We're just shooting through it like an episode of Fringe.
Your logo in frame. You get your setup going, and then you have your camera on. Recorded video.
This is unhinged.
Seth, what kind of expression do we feel like?
Scream. 100%.
Scream. So it's a scream, and I'm being melted, but I'm trying to hold very still, right?
Uh-huh.
Like Robert Patrick is very good at this.
I'm sitting in a chair, like this, and I can't move this way. I can't move this way. I've got to stay totally controlled, hit this emotion, and lock on this expression.
Okay, so I want to hold this light still and my expression still. And so I get my line. I'm gonna hope that does it, folks.
I know that just our view of that was priceless. Everyone, this is free. You don't have to pay for this show. I just want to remind you. This show comes to you free of charge, no obligations, no purchase necessary.
Why is the screen hard to hold? I was trying to put too much strain into it. So this concludes the lesson on how to do a simple reality capture of your face. And now here's the important part. You can't just disconnect this and then grab your camera, because you'll have science again. Mission complete.
We did it.
We did it, folks. We did a visual effect.
All right. So can I go to your screen? Talk me through how that looked.
All right. So once we did that, what I ended up with, let me see. Let me pull over my After Effects prep file here.
What's that?
What the heck are we looking at now?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Wait, let me close this project.
It's like you're working on your new 80s computing logo.
Darby Facento says that you're giving off neckbeard vibes in that hat. That is only spoken by someone who is not a fan of Indiana Jones.
Or Adam Savage. Or millions of neckbeards everywhere.
Neckbeard Legion Unite. Okay, let me see. Hashi prep. Don't save this. And let's load it up.
Now I'm getting self-conscious.
Okay, so here's our exciting thumbnail preview thing. So what I ended up with was these pieces of footage where the camera's spinning around my head, and that
backdrop worked great.
It worked so well the previous time that I scanned my head, but it worked so poorly this time around. And it also came together way faster. I feel like my setup last time took 5 minutes and it just worked. So I did this and got a weird result from my photogrammetry program. And photogrammetry, as many of you know, and maybe some of you don't, is feeding a computer a bunch of images and letting it try to calculate what kind of geometry and surface must exist here, and then recreate it with a mesh. So I did this. It didn't work fantastic. And so I really quickly just did the simplest roto brush of myself from these 3 different takes, just hoping that one would work well in the photogrammetry program. Moves by Maxon will do this, but it's really helpful to have a second person to operate the camera instead of you trying to do that ridiculous rig that I was trying. So
now I do want to point out really quick, Hush, that the chat has asked why I have a swivel chair, and it is a swivel chair won't work because you need the lighting to be the same. So the camera has to go around you instead of you spinning, because if you spin, the lighting is going to change on your face. So shadows and everything are going to be moving across your face as you move, which is why she was doing the spinning the camera instead of spinning his chair.
Exactly. And you could try to mount all of the lighting in the room to your chair to try to have it so the light spins with you, but I promise that feels more dangerous than what I did, remarkably. So if you are on a PC, at least, you can load up this free program called 3DF Zephyr Free. They're in version 7.017 now. And I think that if you're on a Mac, they have some built-in program that does this. I don't remember what it is.
Well, Moves by Maxon will do this on a Mac for you, so just do that.
Yeah, so just use Moves by Maxon. but you need a friend, and my friends were in other states.
But hey, can you remind me why you didn't use Polycam for this? I know we've used that a lot for stuff.
Polycam, same issue. It does the incremental photo thing when you're trying to do a scan like this, and so I just didn't want to do it. I mean, I guess you could feed. I can't remember if you can feed Polycam a pre-recorded video.
Hang on. You don't need friends. You could also just acquire children. Don't those work too?
Yes, acquire children.
Yeah, until they grow up and then unionize against you, and then it's all over.
It's the worst when your kids unionize, when they organize. Yeah,
it's difficult. That's why you should never allow them to speak about their, like their wages amongst each other.
I feel like we're 30 minutes into the show and need to actually show stuff.
We should. All right.
Excuse me, did you not see that informative video of Hashi standing on a waterbed filled with gasoline, spinning a baby mobile around himself?
It makes me so happy. Sorry, go ahead, Hash.
So my simple
I'm not done.
method
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
For doing this thing, getting a photogrammetry is just to lower the frame rate in After Effects, because this particular free program only uses up to 50 images. And for my purposes, that's great. So I crunched the frame rate all the way down to 4 frames per second, and then noticed that was basically 47 frames worth, which is great, just under 50. So I can open them, import them to this thing, and I can kind of say, next. It'll try to calibrate these, and then there are several settings. So I can say I'll just say it's a general object. I'll say default settings for now, just so we can do this quickly. They have a human body section, which even includes like close-ups of a face or hand. Same for the surface reconstruction. There are several things happening. It's trying to build a point cloud and then kind of unify that into a geometry, and then project the texture and colors that it sees onto a single texture that wraps around it. So I'm going to run that, and let's see how long this will take. Just reconstructing the view. So first it's doing a point cloud calculation, and now it is trying to calculate. Oh, I can't see the point cloud right now. It's behind this window. But right now it's trying to reconstruct the surface by trying to, I don't know what it does. It must algorithmically try to figure out what's the best unified surface that would pass through all of those points, right? I mean, I guess it could just connect them all spider web style, but you've got to have some kind of algorithm to make it a continuous mesh. It's exciting. It's exciting.
I tell you, it is.
Ooh, we're getting so close. Computing visibility, and
computing
here we go.
Visibility.
So it says that it was able to integrate every single photo. It figured out where it was. So that is great. 48 out of 48 have been oriented, and the result is, oh yeah!
Wow.
Welcome everybody. This is the default. This is the default quality setting right here.
What did you show me yesterday that had all of your room in it?
That was before I did the roto brush on my on this animation. So if I left without roto brushing, what it did was it constructed all of the like little patches of room in the background. But what was kind of cool about it is that since there was that sign spinning with me, it had a top slice of the room and a bottom slice of the room, and nothing existed in the middle, which is clever and funny. So I kind of like that that's what happened. You can, in this program, just for funsies, I can say, quickly play through all the camera positions in order to recreate what, add all camera positions, but play at like 10 seconds long. Play. Here we go. So here's a reconstruction of they're not in order. But anyway, look at that. We got a little 3D mesh. And you can export that 3D mesh and put it right into After Effects. This isn't After Effects. This is Cinema 4D.
Although After Effects does have 3D model import now.
It does.
In the beta. Public beta. So you can download it now. But I should also point out, Hashi, that the chat is asking for a tutorial on how to build your own waterbed now.
With wood and screws.
And gasoline.
Come on. All right. So
talking to me.
so Seth, do we end up in the same spot now, roughly, with what we've got going on? We have a nice head mesh, and maybe unbeknownst to you, below this head mesh, I have grabbed.
Oh, unbeknownst to you, I have also grabbed. Wait. I thought I had. Skull.
Hey, we have similar skulls.
We do. We're all skulls underneath everything. I also have. I got some eyeballs here. Let me see.
Oh, look at that! Like that. I like this character. I feel like this is a lovable, but actually skeleton.
So I got rid of my eyes that were with the model, and I replaced them with, I don't know, I found it in our folder. We had an eyeball.
The number of times that we have to pop out our own eyes on this show is staggering.
Yeah. So, all right. So back to what you're doing with your skull.
Well, I think that we're both going off of a very similar principle here, which is you can grab, if you've aligned something, here you can see a little preview of this mesh. I actually did a polygon reduce on it, and you'll see all these weird little patches that have a higher density mesh. The reason that is because I needed to preserve the UV of the photogrammetry texture, which is always a very messy looking image. Let me see if I have it saved here. Look at this. So here's the texture that you get out of it. These are probably individual polygons right here. And then there are little patches that will be the surface here. But everything else is broken up kind of like crazy. And that's just kind of an artifact of doing it this way as opposed to something else. But anyway, I get to this version and I grabbed this skull. The easiest way to do that was to grab the object itself and check the X-ray button like that. And then I actually really like this view. Look at this. But yeah, that X-ray view, by the way, is when you click the object in the attributes menu, just check X-ray right there. And you can see right through something. And I'm going to get out of point mode so it doesn't keep doing that. This is phenomenal. I actually like.
Wish we could bring them up on screen together. We've got our.
Here we are. Yeah.
Two dudes. Could fade back and forth between them.
Oh yeah. Wait. I'll get it lined up for the eyes. Well, almost there. Oh, we're close. Here we are. Yes.
Here we are.
Look at this.
This is what our wives see. We're hanging out together. Just you. What, Seth? Okay. Anyway,
so that's our show, everybody. No, I guess we'll do more. Seth, your face was melting earlier. Wow. And why?
How and why? Well, so here's my little trick that I have been trying and enjoying, which is, let me see. So let me get rid of some things. So let me turn X-ray off. I'm going to turn the glasses off.
Just turn X-ray off without a lot of discipline and Kevin Costner dying.
The McBobbles in the chat says this reminds them of Mars Attacks.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So, actually, I will turn X-ray back on real quick. But I'm going to turn off the skull. Spider-Man, turn off the skull. And maybe turn these. Oh, wait, I'll just do the whole human skull here. So, I'm going to duplicate, hold down Control, click and drag the Seth face. And I'm going to name this duplicate Seth face collider. And I'm going to scale it just a little bit smaller than the real me underneath.
It's like a little nesting doll, Seth.
Yeah. And I honestly, it's like, I want to make sure it's all contained underneath inside of the mesh and not like popping out. So I guess I'll go in here and I'll turn X-ray off of both of them and see if I have any, a good way to do it.
Sticking through your head.
If I temporarily on the melt one, just turn off just to get rid of the material, you can see where I might
Spider-Man turn off the material.
Spider-Man, thank you for getting into it with me. So scale it down a little more. This is Michael Myers, Seth. Michael Myers, Pee Wee Herman, weirdly. Just make sure there's no bits and parts sticking out of the sides or anything. And then the reason I'm going to do this is because if I just do a cloth sim, that's good enough for me. Let's put this material. I don't really need the material on the collider, to be honest. So I'm going to turn. That's what I should have done, is gotten the material off the collider. So I'm going to turn X-ray back on the melt layer real quick to show you what I'm thinking here. If I make the Seth Face collider, I go to Tags, Simulation Collider, and just so it doesn't mess with, well, I'm going to leave. I have a collider object already on my eyeballs and on the skull. And now I have it on the collider head as well. So now I'm going to go to my melt head, and I'm going to do Simulation Cloth. And here's what I'm thinking. If I go down here, let me swap our sides here in my windowed projector. Down back over here. If I set this cloth to be, I'm going to get rid of friction, set that to 0.
Always eliminate the friction, guys.
I'm going to set
gals.
Thickness to 0.5 and target length, I'm going to set to, let's say 50 for now. And I'm going to go to the collider head, and I'm going to turn bounce to 0, friction to 0, but then stick. What do you think, like 10, Hash?
Let's try. I would do like 5 or 6.
5 or 6. All right. Well, 6 then. And now with the target length set to 50%, ideally what should happen is when I hit play, my head, the outside head, will suction to. Let me turn off the collider. Spider-Man, turn off the collider, or just and turn X-ray.
Collider is from Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
So that is doing something real weird. You know what? I wonder if I need to make the collider head a little bigger.
I think so. One thing that you could consider, to make. There's a really cool frame in there. This reminds me of the process of when we created
stickiness. I got to turn that back up.
Like mesh cages for the mesh deformers, which involved trying to create something that was just slightly bigger than your model. And for that, we used the volume builder, and you could turn up the tolerance on it. And so basically, it was like thickening and expanding the mesh. And that same volume builder could do the same thing in the inverse, if you would like.
But another really easy way to do it is just to apply a displace deformer to it and use the color white so it's just fully applied, and then just crank it down or up to make a model grow based on its normals.
Oh, that's a perfect idea.
That's very
super
smart.
easy.
That's very smart, because the whole idea here of what I was doing was that I would basically, the outside cloth would quickly kick to, let me see if I do like 2 passes, would quickly there we go, stick to and have kind of the rough shape of me underneath, but be real gross looking. And the thought behind that then is to keyframe the scale. Oh, it does not want to listen to me. There we go. Is to keyframe the scale of the collider. So if I start keyframe on this first frame and then go to like 28, frame 28 or something, that's really quick. Let's go to like 48. And scale that collider head down to where it's inside the skull and make a keyframe there. Ideally, what should happen is my head will then like basically implode down to the skull size.
Mm-hmm.
And I can.
That's a good way to like step it down nicely. Oh, look at that! Like, I mean, you're so somewhere in between a Raider's death and a Last Crusade.
100%
thing going on.
Well, so let's melt me a little bit. Like naturally, you just turn on like tearing to make the some tearing's already happening there, or something.
We are also mixing in a little bit of Zoolander cheekbones going on there too.
Oh, we are.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit of a blue steel /
100%.
Fortune and glory.
Well, I mean,
here.
like every model, male or female or otherwise, you're basically right on the edge of death.
Yeah. So one thing is, so I would like for my face to start tearing and melting away gradually, and I can do that.
Like kind of like this.
Let me go into you.
Well, so I did exactly the same thing that Seth did here, which is I created a duplicate of my face that I'm just calling the initial structure of the head here. I separated the shoulders so the shoulders would sort of stay inflated the whole time, but my head object shrinks into the skull model I have. I didn't cut out my eyes yet, and we'll have to get around to cutting out my eyes, but here's the result in its current state of what I think you're about to do, Seth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Look at that.
All right,
Here we
so
go.
I love that. But what I don't want just the whole head to fall off. I want the face to start falling off before the rest of the head does. And so my way to go about that, and please let me know, Hash, if you've got other stuff you want to show, I can happily.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
You run with this. You run.
So run the
temple run.
I'm going to go to tags, other, and I'm going to make
that's an iPhone throwback.
I want to make a vertex map. And so, and I'm going to go down to vertex map and click on it and go down. Instead of painting a vertex map, I'm going to say use fields. And I'm going to create a spherical field. There it is. I'm crazy. And this sphere object is now created inside, and I'm going to position this sphere object. You see how it's coloring the vertex map now. And so hang
on, real quick, Seth. You need to explain for those who are unfamiliar. Vertex maps are basically they assign a value between 0, full red, to 1, full yellow, to every vertex, which is every point on the model. So this vertex map, instead of being painted, which traditionally they were, is being driven by fields. Fields in Cinema 4D is an amazingly powerful tool that lets you transfer data across all kinds of things. So this spherical map that is saying, hey, vertex map, you be 1 at the center of the sphere to 0 outside the sphere with a fall off, can also drive other things in Cinema 4D, like MoGraph objects and other things. But powerfully in this case, it gives him a procedural way to drive the values on this map. And he can then animate it to make, and the vertex maps can drive a lot of things in Cinema 4D, including, I assume in this case, simulations.
Absolutely. So I am keyframing this sphere to scale up like this. So it will now, let me turn off the collider, Spider-Man, turn off the
again, the collider is from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, not from the failed musical.
That's true.
Or Across the Spider-Verse, my bad.
This is what my vertex map is going to be doing now. And so now I can go into my cloth tag and go to surface, and there's a lot of different things I can do. One of them is I can go to tearing. Now, I messed around with this and I forgot. So I click on cloth tearing, and down here I click this arrow, and I can drag this vertex map in here. However, what value? So like red is technically the minimum tear past, and yellow is the tear past, or is it flipped?
I always forget, and just
I guess we'll find out. So tear past, we'll set it to 200. Minimum tear past we'll set to I guess it doesn't go below 100. So, interestingly, it is. Here we go. It is hard to tell what it's doing. Oh, did I turn off
the dark? Freebie Chillweather in the chat is asking, why not just change the target length of the cloth object to sort of shrink wrap? You can do that, but he's wanting to drive the animation to start at a particular point and end at a certain point.
I can. So I can add target length. I can add the vertex map to that instead.
Exactly.
Let's see. So minimum target length, we'll say 50. Maximum, we'll say 200.
100. No, 100. Otherwise, we'll get ballooning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, ballooning is also fun. It's one of the most fun things to do. I love taking a text, for example, a text object into a volume builder remesher gets you a lovely mesh for simulations, and then I love to put a noise-driven vertex map on there to affect the ballooning, so that you get text that like blah 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 blobs. It's fantastic.
So
our very own Darren Frankovitz did an amazing demonstration of something like this. I'm sharing my screen here.
Oh, yeah.
On doing something pretty similar, which is grabbing a head mesh as liquid and inflating it. Zoop.
So good.
Pop.
So you know what?
Yeah, so many fun things you can do.
The target length was actually the right thing to put that vertex map on because, and now I'll go turn tearing on. But before I do, you see as that sphere gets bigger, suddenly the areas inside that sphere start to stretch downward before any of the other stuff in the head does. So it has this slight curve of the front of the face is melting before the rest of the head is, which is fun.
I feel like so much of VFX and Chill is benefited by this new simulation that got added at Cinema 4D. Like, this stuff was not easy to do like a couple of years ago.
Hashi, that's why we waited to fully get into cinema.
You
is.
got in at the exact right time.
Yeah,
like the whole mission in
that
hospital,
unified physics system, and we will show up with,
the whole mission in hospital trailer with the IV bags and the bandages, like all of that.
IV bag is
this new simulation system.
100%.
And if you want to learn more specifically about the IV bag style situation, I have a tutorial called "Bringing Inanimate Objects to Life," where I'm working away and then realize I get to a point that I don't know how to do that, and so I ask the advice of two trainers simultaneously. One who shows me the rigid body dynamics, one who shows me the new unified dynamic system with strings and dangling an object off of them. It's a lovely example of how many ways you can do things.
The tutorial Hashi just mentioned is linked in the chat, by the way.
Hey, look at that.
After this is over, bookmark that link.
Michael, it is so great to have you back this week.
It really is.
We needed you for knowledge last week.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that there were questions that went very unanswered.
Hey, this looks like, as you said, Robert Pattinson.
That's looking.
I think you meant Robert Patrick.
You heard it.
But
did I say Pattinson?
I think you said Pattinson. That's how I heard
cheekbones, it. But
yeah.
This has a real Robert Patrick like action figure vibe, or like the real Ghostbusters version of Terminator. So by the way, just to recap, I took that vertex map, I dragged it into the target length map, and into the tear past map, with tear past set to 200%, and minimum is set to 100. And so now the cloth will not tear until it is within this. It's the spherical field that is driving what parts of the face are stretching and
so
tearing.
Gross, Seth. That's so
As
nasty.
the prophecy foretold.
As it did.
I love it.
Now here's a question that I don't know the answer to. I made the glasses melt in my other version, but I would like them to stay solid. But I don't know how to. I know how to do it with bullet dynamics, but I don't know how to do it with this kind of dynamic system. How do I make the glasses?
Yeah. Easy peasy. So either you wait till some unspecified time in the future when rigid body dynamics come to the unified simulation system in Cinema 4D, or
I don't want to wait for my life.
That's just a prophecy. It's just a prophecy, everyone.
Yeah, we roll by prophecies at this company. It is very unpredictable, but it gets.
I mean,
but
we have some new soothsayers that are very,
I would be fired.
Very cool.
No,
I want to stop playing there. Okay.
The other option is to use soft bodies, but just add plenty of internal poles and a lot of stiffness and not a lot of bending, and you'll get a pretty stable. Yeah, like
that's what I would recommend. With I know that those are very low poly glasses, and so they still might have some trouble with it.
You're going to want to have a little bit more. I'm trying to point with my mouse, but obviously no one can see it. Along the length of it, you want to have poles all along the whole thing, so none of it moves.
Poles.
So you could adjust the angle there and that'll like kind of shoot out those little like little pull lasers and increase the maximum or the minimum length or whatever it's called.
The angle. Show me where
the
I'm
angle.
doing that.
In the soft body setting, there should be an angle setting.
Spread, density, shoot side, hit side, seed, direction.
Let me see. I can't see your screen.
Yeah, your screen's blurry for me. I'm trying to look.
It's the spread angle.
Yeah, spread. More spread.
More spread.
More spread. Because right now those laser little things trying to connect to the other side are only shooting out at one direction. See, it's like that amazing Ricochet plugin by Rocket Lasso.
Love Rocket Lasso's plugins, by the way.
Highly recommend. All right. While you fiddle with those settings for a second, Seth, I'm just going to quickly show off a very simple thing that I like to do, which is anytime I need to rip out my own eyes from a Hashi skin like this. If you just start deleting polygons, they're probably not going to line up with your photo scanned head because there's no real topography to speak of. But if you create a little object, in this case it was 2 cylinders, and then I just enabled the soft selection tool. So if I grabbed something with the soft selection, I could grab any of the little sides of the cylinder and just kind of move them up and down until they matched the eye shape. I put both of those cylinders into a connect object and baked them down. And now I can put Hashi into a bool object and this little cylinder thing right under it in the connect object. And now I have just something to shepherd you into the dream world, everybody. Ooh, look at that. It's the optical illusion of pupils that follow you. But anyway, obviously it did a nice job of tearing out the eye holes. And you can go ahead and press C to turn this into its own object. You could leave these little eyelid things here, or I think I'm just going to delete them. So I just have nice eye holes like that. And then I will load up, you just grab the, merge this project with, I'm pretty sure that we have Hashi eyes somewhere in our digital humans folder, right? Don't we have, here we go, an eyeball.
Yeah, I just searched eyeball and found a really great eyeball.
Eyeball, let's see. Oh, blue eyes. I'll see how I look with blue eyes. If the texture loaded up, or the materials. Where's the object itself? Bloop. Bloop. And why isn't it visible? I'm guessing I'm missing some assets. That's easy. We'll do that. You're welcome to switch back at this point when I'm just trying to add in new eyes.
Oh, I'm just thinking about lighting my eyeballs on fire.
I
remember the Shrek episode, and which was fantastic.
Yeah. Weirdly, it is running very slow. I don't think it needs to.
This is one of the reasons why it is very good if you're doing something like this to optimize the meshes of your collider objects and of your mesh to whatever degree you think you can, get away with. Really,
I did not do.
Which is fine. You don't have to.
I'm curious. What does the topology look like on your mesh face here, Hush? Or Seth? I mean,
me. It
both
looks
of you actually
like this.
Oh, like crap. Yeah, got it.
You look like crap. No, you look beautiful.
Oh.
You always look beautiful. So,
thanks.
what do I do now? I could do remesh right now.
You could do a polygon reduction because right now you want to preserve. This is a crappy model and it will not withstand anything else. So, do a polygon reduce and check the preserve UV boundaries.
Preserve UV boundaries.
But
this is using the free.
Still going to have gross topology though.
It's going to have gross topology. You could fix the topology,
Guys,
but because of the way it's textured,
I've
you
lived
won't
with
be able
this
to get a good thing
topology
out
my
of
whole
remesh.
life, and this is as good as it's going to get, guys. I'm sorry.
Impossible topology standards.
Yeah. So I did a polygon reduction. Oh, am I going to ruin my fields and stuff? I'll take this out here.
You won't ruin your fields because the fields are driven parametrically.
So if I go...
You would just put the vertex map on the remesh object, not the original.
But can I hit make editable right now and it'll be all right?
I think you can just put the vertex map onto the main one.
Oh, really?
I think.
Onto
Try to find out.
Onto this guy or onto the
No,
reduction?
onto the remeshed object.
But I don't need to make it editable first.
I don't think you need to.
Wow.
Because the vertex maps can be applied. Just drag it up a level. Just drag it up onto the drag the vertex map up onto the remeshed object.
I see.
See if it works. It might work.
Doesn't appear to have.
Put it in a connect object and put the vertex map in the connect object.
Let's see.
Or what's
Connect
our other
objects.
magic object? There's a connect object,
there
and
you
there's the what can I think of it? The correction
The
object,
correction deformer. Yeah.
deformer.
Those are the two like pre-comps in Cinema 4D.
Ooh, I have successfully grabbed those eyeballs and put them into my face.
You have?
Over here. That's what I'm up to.
Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah, so
look at
now I
those
have
very realistic
eyeballs
eyes.
in my
Those
head.
actually look really good.
That's awesome.
They're actually, they really
Look at that.
blow away the texture of everything else. So it's
Your-
a little
your
bit
eyes are so
bizarre
blue.
because they
yeah, that's
it's
the
very
same
clear that-
eyeball I'm using.
my photogrammetry doesn't really like
Where
have
did-
my eyelid
Where
clinging
did
to
get
the
these
eye.
eyeballs from?
Sketchfab probably.
Sketchfab. Let me see what they are. They are called. Sorry, I think we brought this up on the Multiverse of Madness episode.
Is that
Is
when
where
we
we
had the
grabbed
eyeball?
these. Eyeball.
While Hashi looks for that, Seth, I'd like to point out that Darren Frankovitz in the chat says you could have kept the vertex map tag on the original and added a new vertex map tag to your generator and then use the original as a field on it, just as an FYI.
Oh, interesting.
But since this vertex map is being generated by a field in the first place, I don't know that is super necessary. But if you have a vertex map on your original, then you remesh it. I want to keep that same vertex map. Then you can put vertex maps into fields that drive vertex maps. You can get crazy.
Now, do I want my cloth sim on the connect object?
You would, yes.
Well, real quick, Seth, I just want to mention
Yeah.
the eyeball is by Tom Hodes. We've got it right here.
That's a
name is
beautiful looking eyeball.
little bit behind the. There we go. So here we are. It's a beautiful eyeball. There's the blue eyeball version and there's a brown one. I think that I'm using the brown eyeball and Seth is using the blue. So that's what we got there. Tom Hodes, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you,
To-
Tom.
Very good
Hodes.
eyeball.
Something
Like,
I'm very
that
sure-
texture is fantastic. That's a good texture on that eyeball.
What I'm
People
curious
don't
about
realize
is-
how red eyeballs look on the backside. Eyeballs are gross.
They are. I love them. I love them
Actually,
so much.
I'm glad that the skull was lined up reasonably with it. Looking at this, though, I feel like the eyeballs actually should be like this.
Bigger.
Looks like sort of right to me, but yeah, I feel like they do have to be bigger. So I'm going to do scale, and I'm going to go down. Once I click the scale tool, I'm going to say no soft selection, but on the axis setting, I'm going to say per object transform. That way, instead of scaling them up and farther apart, they're each going to only scale in place. So, Seth, you just let me know when we
This
have
looks
reached.
like a thumbnail for the oh
the
crap, what's that
timer,
series called?
the one that overperformed or whatever.
No, it's a thumbnail where he's like, not a problem. Like, crap.
Oh yeah, no, that's what Hosh did for the timer episode of VFX and
Yes.
Chill.
It's very famous. People in the chat, tell me what the series is I'm thinking about.
Tell Michael what he's thinking about.
Tell
Please,
Michael what
chat.
he's thinking.
That's what you're here for. Speaking of which, Frig Chill Weather also says that what I said was good for blurring vertex maps. Yes, because you could feed a vertex map into a field and then blur it. And you listen, fields are. Can I just talk for a second? So
Please.
when I was using Cinema 4D, like I was starting to build more and more complex things, and I was like bumping into a wall of like I can't get any more complex than this. Cinema 4D doesn't have the tools for me. I'm gonna have to learn Houdini or some other tool set. And then like right after I was hitting that wall, Cinema 4D was like, here's a new version introducing fields, and I was like, oh my gosh, this has answered all of my problems because suddenly I'm able to control everything throughout Cinema 4D just with these little fields instead of the ye old fall off. And it was like it changed.
Did you say
Changed
ye
how well-
old fall off?
Yes, I did.
That's
Although to be very technical, the ye oldie should be pronounced the, because Y was a character called Thorn, which was stood for the TH. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
The
bye.
old,
I'm just kidding. Come back.
the old fall off system has been replaced with the fields. That is so much more powerful and gave me that flexibility and the power that I needed to get what I needed to get done just way faster right inside Cinema instead of having to learn a whole new tool that is more complicated and whatnot.
And
so I was very happy with the introduction of fields, and they've kept iterating on it, and in recent update introduced vertex maps being driven by fields, and it just that was the final little step that I needed to get everything I needed to get done right inside Cinema. It was fantastic.
Fantastic.
All right. In the meantime, I'm just.
Oh, look, that is so disgusting, Hosh.
How did you get that Pedro Pascal face yesterday? That was like, I knew.
I don't remember. I turn into various people whenever my face melts. I feel like I turn into Ken Jeong at some point right around here.
It's like Jeeves from Men in Black, Tony Shalhoub's character. That when his head is regrowing, he has like 3 different stages of different caricatures that he is.
It's so amazing that Tony Shalhoub's character and that is a crazy work of.
I love it.
Of so many things coming together. Okay, this is so much more helpful that my eyeballs stay in place for this.
Oh yeah, and make them colliders too. It looks incredible.
It's so great. Okay, so like clearly the low resolution going on here of my mesh contributes to some silliness, but I'm going to try to overcome that with something that I'm going to set up in the meantime. Seth, you're welcome to go back to whatever you were doing too.
Yeah, I am just going to try to... I was going to start lighting the eyes on fire. I wonder what does the topology look like on the eyes? Display. It's not bad, is it? I guess it's a lot.
I mean, it's true. It could be a simpler collider than that, but
I'll just light it on fire. Pyro emitter. Let's see what happens.
I was just turning on my pyro emitters over here. This is going to be fun.
I don't know if mine's going to work at all.
Oh, we never know.
I just didn't optimize anything for pyro, and I'm dropping it into a already very slow simulation.
Oh my gosh! Okay. I dropped it into mine, and it's pressurizing the. I dropped it onto my collider.
Oh man!
And the pressure of it is pushing away my skin.
That's incredible. That's what I'm going to put it on my skull. I'm going to put it on my skull.
Yeah, man.
It sounds like an energy drink commercial.
This is so right here. So this is what you all
melt.
Is this moment of bizarro pyro death. All right, so I'm going to go to my pyro output right here, which is actually basically just a stand-in to the controls for your simulation scene, which now has a pyro scene tab in it. So if I went, Control D to my project settings, you would see under simulation, you'd see pyro here. And these are all the exact same settings. But we found it was helpful, especially when you're working with fire, to just be able to quickly click on that and do some of these all of these little details. So in particular, I'm going to dive into it and go to the pyro tab within pyro. And for the buoyancy, instead of -5, I'm going to turn the buoyancy up to a positive number. Let me just solo the object that I'm using to emit this right now. Let's do some automatic solo mode right here. I have this slightly lower resolution head that's doing the same thing that Seth's was, where it's just below the surface of this for the most part and then shrinks down over time. So when I've got that selected, let's try this out. I'm going to render that, and is my pyro rendering? My pyro might not be visible enough. It's cool because its pressure fields are very visible, but its visibility is very low. And this is just the viewport preview of pyro, by the way, so there's a lot more that could be happening here that isn't necessarily yet. Wait, Seth, if you're making progress, you're welcome to.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh my God! Well, that's an Indiana Jones style death, if you ask me.
I wonder if the glasses have a soft body on them. I kind of want to go. I want to. Well, why not? Let's just see what happens to these glasses. I need you guys to teach me more about how to make them more rigid, but this is what's happening to my face.
You could add a mesh for them that is like a big cube. That's working as a
that's smart.
mesh deformer and if you make the cube cloth and rigid, it can barely do anything because it's a cube.
That's smart. I might do that.
In that making inanimate objects video, we do something very similar with a lantern. That's a complicated mesh that just needs to stay rigid. But we make a cloth box that just has one. It's a 8-point cube,
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Cubes are 8 points. Yes.
Whew. I can still count.
And then
Sorry, I just every time we introduce Pyro, I just keep getting distracted by how awesome the fire just is.
now I'm a Pixar character.
You
Oh
are
my gosh, have you seen Elemental yet?
I haven't yet.
Me neither, but I want to. Every character is just basically a visual effect the
A
whole
different
time.
sim. Yeah, I know. It's insane. No, we really want to go. I'm behind now. I saw Spider-Verse a second time instead of Elemental, which I'm sure Pixar's very grateful I did that.
Spider-Verse is super worth a second watch.
Yeah, and I recommend if your just in case your theater doesn't have the updated mix, and
the audio mix is way better. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the old mix, just make sure and pray your theater's playing it super loud. If you have the new I recommend either way.
Sorry,
sit closer to the
loud.
theater than closer to the screen than you normally would.
Here, behind the scenes, the problem is they made a mix and said, theaters, we recommend you play it at this volume level, but most theaters wouldn't do it because they always set their volume level at a certain amount to avoid blowing out their speakers. But they had mixed Spider-Verse specifically so it would work at that volume level without blowing out speakers. But theaters, they're minimum wage paid employees who are told to only ever do this one thing. So they obeyed.
I have some more behind the scenes intel. I'll tell you off camera, off mic. But
they
that's
basically
looking pretty exciting, Seth.
I think I'm done. I think that's pretty much.
I think you're done. I think that's your elemental emoji right here.
And Frigby Chillweather says that this face melting thing is reminding them of Total Recall. Frigby, I'm not sure of your gender, so I'm just saying them. If you have a preferred pronoun you'd like me to use.
How do we know Frigby is not Michael's? Is not you, Michael? I feel like I was thinking that this the other day. You could have created this account on a second device so that you can drop puns without me deleting you off the show.
Well, the thing is, Frigby is typing stuff while I'm also trying to edit a tutorial in the background, so I promise it's not me.
I promise I'm working during the show.
I'm currently working on a fireworks tutorial that's about to be posted on Red Giant here in about an hour if things go well. So, hang on for that if you're interested in fireworks.
Very nice.
All right. Hey, Seth, over here, I've just to simplify things, I just copied over this mesh over here that I have Pyro on.
Help me.
So by default, here's what Pyro looks like. And so you can see that.
Hang on, how big is this scene, Hash? Drop a default human into your scene because that looks huge.
It does look huge, actually. So it's not ginormous.
No, default human.
Fine.
The figure shape.
Why is that?
That is about 5 foot 10 inches
ginormous.
tall. That figure is 5 foot 10 inches tall. So that head is 15 feet.
It's because Indiana Jones is larger than life.
Oh, you know what? Mine is huge too. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I was comparing it to
Massive
the cube.
pro tip here. Massive pro tip. Simulation works at real world scales. Drop this little figure in there. It's about 5 foot 10 tall. If you want to make sure, you can type in 6 FT into the height of the figure, and it'll translate it into centimeters for you automatically, and it'll give you a 6 foot tall person if you want to be normal sized.
The height, I can type 6 FT.
I'm gonna turn
and Michael,
my
I also relate
to 3.
I also relate to normal size being 6 feet. I appreciate that. All right.
So now
for those
that we
who don't know,
this...
Seth and I met in person for the first time.
So we have, this head burning away. And just for fun, let's add in a sphere. We'll make it a hemisphere. I always call it hemisphere when I'm creating it in After Effects. I mean, in Cinema, because it feels like I distinctly want to make sure that it's a half sphere. So I say
hemisphere.
Hemisphere.
It's a hemisphere.
Not as if it weren't a super common word. So I'll put this above here, so it's like my little proxy shoulders, and you can see this fire flows up like fire or something, hot wood. But if I go into my pyro settings, double pyro, and turn the buoyancy up to something like 6.7, and I forgot, I've got to add the tag, a simulation collider tag on my shoulders. Whoops. Okay, it's good. It's going to take one more second until it acknowledges that buoyancy.
It's okay. While we wait.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't it know about my? Do I need to adjust the temperature buoyancy?
I tell you.
Oh yeah.
When that head is huge, the fire looks better.
Temperature buoyancy. The temperature buoyancy has got to be negative. Here we go.
I think the fire looks better when the head is huge, to be honest.
Well, it's because it's a voxel ratio thing.
Oh, that's right.
It's a voxel thing, Seth. You wouldn't understand.
Thing.
Okay, so now we've got the density and the temperature have a negative value for their buoyancy, and it actually does not need to be very high at all. Negative 0.02 and negative 0.6 is what I'm going to try this time. And now we have temperature emitting downward. So we have stuff that flows downward from this and out into here, which is lovely. It's lasting a very long time, and it doesn't need to really.
That looks like a very weird lamp or like display that would be on your desk.
It does. I'm going to turn up the density dissipation and temperature. Actually, I'm going to leave the temperature dissipation kind of low. But what this will do is, watch. They'll have just a shorter lifespan. See?
Oh, yeah.
And now if I go to the overall system,
I think you can put your buoyancy can be like slightly less because it's going down fast.
It is going very fast. So on the pyro tag itself, let me see. The surface thickness is 10 centimeters, and I don't remember if I thought this had its own voxel size setting also. Maybe I'm missing it. Or maybe it's all just unified in the pyro output still. Now.
Yeah, the voxel's all right there.
Okay, so I'll turn the voxel size down to a smaller number,
which means a higher resolution.
Increase the number of calculations that have to happen. So I've turned it down to 1.4. So now I have a higher resolution thing going on here. And you're right. Let's fix the temperature buoyancy. Let's put it at negative 0.2, just like the density buoyancy, and let's see what we get. Okay, now we're getting something a little bit closer to the amount of, the type of flow and speed of wax melting, which is sort of or time-lapsed wax melting. And that's really what I want to start recreating in here. Seth, you're welcome to be showing what you're working on as well.
I'm not really. I'm kind of, fire was slowing me down so much that I decided to instead
the old fire
back to melting. Now I kind of want to see what it would look like if I were to volume mesh the cloth sim. Would that? But I'm trying to think of how I keep my texture that way. Oh my gosh, Hosh, that freaking rules.
What I just did, and this is one of my favorite things ever, is the temperature of this fire is what controls what type of section of the fire is being output by pyro. So if I in my pyro my pyro tag that's on the emitter, if I go to the temperature, it is usually checked at 4,000 by default, and I'll turn it back to 4,000 and just get back to the beginning and press play. So this is like a nice fire temperature. It starts off bright and then goes through red and then turns into smoke. But if I set the temperature at the beginning to something like 1,000, we're starting already with like black smoke or something closer to it.
You could turn off the temperature entirely and just go density with smoke, and you could color that density with a vertex map based on your texture, so you would get like skin tones flowing down too, possibly, potentially.
You
maybe.
Really could. So this is the fun. And also, just by the way, look at this. It's that thing from Harry Potter. We're just saying, hey.
Okay, wait. Now put some glasses on it.
Don't go to school or something.
Make the eyes visible. Make the eyes visible and put some glasses on it. I want to see what that thing would look like.
Okay, so let's see. Let's just go over to.
Okay,
what do we got? We've got the human skull and this
marshmallow
and the internal structure. So these are all technically critical to it. So I'll copy these over to my weird pyro setting, but they're all going to be too big. So let's group them. I think there are some stupid keyframes in here. What are they on? They're on the head internal structure. So let me delete the keyframes because I don't want to scale the animation and hope it lines
there was
up.
that
want to scale
commander
the whole
module thing you could type that would just get rid of all keyframes. Like
actually, if you go to the bottom left, where we can't see very easily because our pictures are there, there's a little keyframe icon in the bottom left.
Tracks.
Yeah, if you hit that, it pulls up.
It doesn't show every track though. The idea is like
it does.
But then you have to still manually go and delete them, and I want to be able to be like Shift C, beep boop bop.
You just select the main overall everything and hit delete, and it just gets rid of all the tracks.
Wait, where's my?
I've opened that before, and it hasn't shown me.
Why
it has been
can I
not
not
showing
see?
some important
What did I do? I feel like
I don't know what you've done. It should.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to grab. How about I move these into here?
I don't know if that's going to work. That pyro thing gets really weird.
I know the pyro thing gets weird. Okay, so I do want it to work in here because I had the skin and everything all set up. So let's go into here and let's fix the pyro settings. What do I need to do? I need to go to the initial structure of the head and go to its pyro tag because we're learning about it, right? Temperature, let's set that to 500. We'll set the pyro output to, it can still be a big voxel size because of how huge this scene is. And then the density, let's turn down to negative 0.2, or was it 0.02?
Well, the scale is going to affect how everything works, so don't know.
Don't know, we'll see. Let's go to the cloth. Is the cloth enabled? Enabled. Okay, press play. Let's turn off the solo mode. What's happening? Where are all my things? Okay, wait. I need more time. And Jason, I'm not gonna render this fire. Who do you think I am?
The render man.
Rendering the fire is actually fairly easy, but we don't want the fire. We just want the density.
We just want the density.
Actually, I think the better way to go would be, rather than rendering the fire or the density, would be to drive a volume mesher.
I was about to ask if that's possible to do. You can put that in the volume mesher.
You put it in a volume mesher,
and you can make it look like liquidy blood coming all down.
100%, yes.
All right, let's see. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going
Louises.
to try to get this a little fixed up. I might have overwhelmed my thing.
That's I'm going to call that Stay Puft Hashmallow Man.
I like that moniker.
And then it's engulfed in flames. My favorite title of a David Sedaris book, not my favorite David Sedaris book. When You Are Engulfed in Flames, I think is a very funny title.
All right, what am I doing here?
I don't know.
I'm restarting my cinema here. So I want a bit of a clean reopen of this thing. Let's see. How do we go? There we are. Okay, let's see. Was this the one where let's delete all pyro for the moment. And let's see, why can I not see my own skin? There it is. Okay, so just a quick preview of this situation was working nicely earlier, but we had an issue with the with the scale of the pyro, right? So I've got to somehow shrink this whole scene down to make more sense again. But they have all
Just
these.
as a heads up, Hashi, you're not running the latest version of Cinema 4D. There have been a couple of updates since that. The
really
one
not
has come out.
Oh, it's because I never mind. I won't explain why. I have
I know why.
So
I don't, but
folks, just if you're watching, there's an update beyond what he's got. So if your number matches his, you're behind.
Exactly.
I want to know why he's not changing it. Michael, can you put it in the Slack or something so I can know?
Well, like
no, it's just he's
hypothetically, there are even
newer versions that he can't put online.
Yeah.
They can't show off.
I see.
That one might acquire in some sort of backstage location.
I mean, it's not a secret that you have to review the software before the software can be thrown out to
nothing gets released until it goes through me and Hashi's hands. The two of us together take
and the projects we have killed, the passion projects that we have just
so many. Guys,
chopped off at the knees.
We just tell them, look, guys, I know that you've put a whole lot into this.
I know you've done a ton of updates for, Moves by Maxon.
Yeah, a ton of updates.
and the licensing server, but we were like, no, leave it. Leave it all.
For just petty reasons.
Just I know you're making a joke, but hey folks, if any of you out there are having issues with licensing with your Red Giant tools, the Maxon app team is actually right in the middle of working on fixing all those kinds of issues. So go to support.maxon.net and file a support ticket and let them know that you're willing to share logs or anything else that can help them track what the issues are, because they are right in the middle of trying to fix all of your licensing woes. So
all of my licensing woes.
Yeah, you know what?
This is your
what
chance
helps
to get the rest of them fixed.
Yeah, what helps us fix stuff is when you tell us it's broken.
Well, they can't fix what they can't see.
Because we have our list of things that we're working on. Like, we want to keep on making stuff better. But additionally, if something is out there and not working for you, file a support ticket and send us the crash reports, because they're hugely instructive to what we're doing.
Weirdly, I can fix what I can't see. That's just something that people don't know a lot about me.
All right, so I killed all the physics. I've scaled this back down. Let's do a little review of how we got here. Hi, I'm Hashi. You may be wondering how I ended up in this the worst, the most tired way to open the movie. I'm
just glad that this episode is sponsored by my husband's favorite drink, which is Coca-Cola. So thank you, Hashi, for this shirt.
Not many people have heard of Coca-Cola. It's this really cool indie bottling company from in the South. You can only get it in Kentucky. Atlanta. Wait, that's something else.
We did it.
Are you an Ale 8 fan, by the way, Michael, since you live in Kentucky?
Oh, so here's the thing. No. I'm a big fan of ginger ales that don't use sugar in them. So I'm more of of other brands fan. But I have some friends who are very big Ale 8 fans who are from Kentucky. No, I'm a big fan of Coke because they backed. So for those who don't know the history, Atlanta was kind of, a lot of the people in Atlanta were going against Martin Luther King Jr.'s some of his events he was trying to hold there, and Coke said Atlanta doesn't need Coke, or Atlanta needs Coke more than Coke needs Atlanta. So if you keep blackballing this guy, we're gonna head out. And Atlanta was like, oh, forget it, Martin Luther King Jr., you're welcome here. And it kind of, so Coke was a big part of helping the civil rights movement in the United States move forward. So I'm a fan of Coke for that reason. I did
not know that, and that's wonderful. I did visit the Coca-Cola Museum.
For why,
I thought it was Kylie Jenner and Pepsi.
I mean, that's our show, folks.
To summarize what I got going on here, I've got my photogrammetry head up here, Hashi. Then under that, I have the human skull elements. So basically, we've got our skull, we've got the two eyeballs, and it's got a top and bottom jaw. So I can adjust those separately. You can see that I have the teeth from the skeleton sticking out where my real teeth arguably sort of are in the photogrammetry. It's a little bit terrifying, but whatever. And then below all that I've had hidden most of the time was this collider. And what I did with the collider is I have the internal structure here for the head, and I separated it from the shoulders here. So here's the shoulders down here, and here's the head. And I'm going to add a keyframe to the collider head at the beginning here. And then, let's see, let's go to its coordinates, make sure that there's a keyframe for all the scale. Why do I have issues adding keyframes for scale? I don't know why. I know that I do, though.
What sort of issues are you having? And also, second of all, I'd like to point out that I do not endorse Coke at all. It is a terrible product for your health. You should not drink Coke. It is bad for you. But at least they were on the right side of history.
Hey, Hash, you're on your model. Can you do you want to do object mode? Does that do anything?
So I'm in object mode, and then I thought that if I had like...
No, you're not.
Automatic key... Am I not?
Hold it down. Hold it down. What are you in some other mode?
What do you mean?
Go up to the... Oh. Wait.
I'm in object mode.
Hold that down.
What
you're in model mode.
Oh.
Go to object mode.
Wait. That's the difference?
I don't know.
Depends on what the problem that you're having is.
I just want to...
I always try it just to see.
When I have automatic keyframing on, I thought that if I went to here and then scaled this down... Okay, that is scaling the scale. And the automatic grab it?
Yeah.
No. So I just haven't ever noticed when I was switching between those two.
Yeah, me either.
Right. So clearly we have this internal collider, and it shrinks away. And when the skull is on, you see this. So here's the base thing. The skin will stick to this collider, which was Seth's idea. I love this idea, by the way, Seth.
Thanks, bud.
It shrinks down into the head, and then on top of that, we have our scan. Right now, it's not a cloth or anything, so I'm going to add the cloth tag to it, simulation tags, cloth tag. And while I'm at it, I'm going to select all of the geometry down here and add a collider tag. And what's nice about adding them all at the same time is that while they're all still selected, I can say, let's have on all of these collider tags about like a 0.66 friction and a little bit of stick. And now here on this cloth sim, I could just play it just as is at the default settings, and you'll see this happen. Ooh.
That's so melty.
Pretty wild. Oh, I Okay, now I did forget that I turned up the gravity for this scene, also per Seth's suggestion, just to add more straight pull down. But I want to get these shoulders not... see, the shoulders are melting away too right now, see? And that's a little bit weird. So,
it's me.
So all I'm going to do for that is I'm going to, while I'm in the cloth mode, I'll grab... I think I actually have a point selection stored already. But you could also just go, highlight, select a bunch of points there, go to your cloth tag, and then under surface, under dresser, you can say fixed points, set. See how I put up the little, I'm going to say purple dot on all those? They're now fixed points, which is great. So now if I play this back, watch this. See, they stay fixed and the face melts onto them, which is pretty cool.
In Russia, the face melts on you.
Face melt you. So back on the cloth setting.
Stupid. Why do we have a show?
I don't know. But thank you all for coming. We appreciate it. So let's play with some stuff. I'm going to turn the bendiness down on the. There's no stretchiness on this yet. Jeez Louise. Okay, well, we are going to add some tearing, so I'm going to check cloth tearing, and it comes in the form of a percentage. So right now it says if I'm stretched beyond 150% of my usual size, disconnect, basically. And for the tear guiding, it's like, do you want it to like cut like Fruit Ninja style, like 45? I'm going to turn this down to a pretty low number. So these are steeper cuts, and they look more like paper shreds, and hopefully they become cooler little bits here. And it's a simulation, again, and we've said it before, in a simulation scene, you just simulate it over and over and over again. And once you like it, save it, because, you never know what's going to come back. There we go. Okay, so now we've got some kind of cool stuff going on here. One thing that I didn't think about, actually, is I have this, the collider I usually don't have visible, but I could just go to my collider and give it a nice Here we go. Look at that. You solved half the problems.
Blah.
That's pretty gruesome. Okay.
It's finished.
So, as you can see, like I reduced this cloth to be as small as possible so the simulation would happen quickly. But like these are weird looking pieces, right? But one cool thing that you can do, even at this stage with the simulation running on it, is you can add a subdivision surface right here. And I'm going to put my whole cloth on the inside of that. So here's what the subdivision surface is imagining. So it has a lot more geometry and interesting things. And I don't remember how much, what this will do impact-wise to the simulation, but I feel like I've done this before and like what it offers me. So the simulation is still happening quickly, and then a secondary calculation from the subdivision surface is happening. And what that secondary calculation does is this. It's taking that geometry and creating, through a little, what's its default thing? It's through the Catmull-Clark
Is Catmull
reduction.
Clark named after Ed Catmull? No.
That's a great question, and I mean,
yes,
it ought to be. So look at what we've got here. So now with the subdivision surface, I'm getting these cool tiny little bits instead of individual polygons, and a lot of just some weird grossness happening here. And what I'm curious about is if I were to take this subdivision surface thing and, right, I think in, is it under modifiers? Where is it? Thicken.
Thicken is under the generators.
I've never been able to get it to work.
It's great. What? Generators. Just shift C thicken.
Oh, that works. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, I'm sorry. What I'd forgotten I'd done for quite a while was I had saved a setup that I really liked here, but forgot that it would save even what came up in these menus, and so I couldn't find thicken forever. So I'm going to grab thicken. I'm going to, let's see, what should I do it on? I'll do it on the, I'll put it, I don't know which would be more beneficial. I'll put it on in here, put Hashi in the thicken object, and the thicken object in the subdivision surface. Oh, no, that's silly.
No,
I want the thicken. I want that in there and that in there. Oh, because I want it to thicken that, yes. The distorted version. And I don't want it to thicken by 10 centimeters. I want it to be like by 0.3 or something like that.
Also, keep in mind you're currently
measure your skin really quickly. Let me know.
You're currently in points mode instead of model mode or object mode, so things will look a little funky. There you go.
All right. So check this out. So thicken is a really easy object to take. Something like this. It's just this little, invisibly thin sheets, and then if I turn it on, look at that.
That's very thick, though.
Thicken them out. That's very thick skin. I'm very thick-skinned, But to make this more accurate, let's make it more like 0.5.
How thick is your skin, chat? Share it in the chat.
I mean, I'm a YouTuber. It is paper thin.
Also, hello, Kevin Marches. Welcome. For those of you who've never been here before, this is VFX and Chill, where Seth and Hashi take Hollywood level visual effects and pull them apart and put it back together again. But instead of being a polished tutorial where they already know what they're doing and just kind of godlike show you how to do it, this is where we all figure out how to do it live in front of you, so you can kind of more see how problem solving is done in the visual effects industry.
Mm-hmm. I mean, experiment, especially with simulations. Again, so much experimentation has to happen. So, I think that this is neat, but, for example, the way the mouth reveal is really cool, but the rest of this is a little bit silly. I don't like the way it's looking. I'm going to try adding some stretchiness and more stickiness. I think you're right, Seth. And I am going to turn off the subdivision surface for now, because it'll preview a little bit faster, so I can watch this back, but I'm leaving the thicken on so I can still see.
You can also add a vertex map to stickiness that's using a shader, a noise shader, on the surface. So then, only parts of the skull of the head are sticky, or parts of it are sticky. So Like some parts stretch and fall, other parts stick and hang.
Ooh, that's a good call. Oh, and you know what? On my cloth, I never set the target length to anything but 100. So if I turn that down a little bit,
I
don't want to turn it down too much because I don't want it to immediately like whip back. But let me turn the stretchiness up, the bendiness down, the tear past number way down to like 110%. So it'll tear right away. But I turned up the stretchiness, so we'll see which does which. It's, again, simulation. I'll disable the thicken, too. Why not? And let's play this version. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're getting a very fast tear and dissipate situation. So let's turn up the tear number a little bit more. And I forgot to turn up the stickiness, even though that was the whole thing I said.
Spider-Man, turn up the stickiness.
Spider-Man, turn up the stickiness. Okay, there we go. This is what I want. See,
there it is. Oh, look at that.
So now bits are clinging, and as the as the head structure shrinks in, I become like emaciated, this like shaped like the skull as bits of my.
Yeah.
So gross, Hashi.
This is what. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so nasty.
This feels like a mess to me.
Oh, it really does. That's so gross.
What I should have been doing is I should have been caching this sim. And in fact, I'm going to. This one's pretty great. So let's just cache this. Let's do it one more time. I clicked on the cloth tag and went to calculate cache.
Now, while this is caching, I want to point out that all the parameters, including stickiness, can be driven by vertex maps. So you have the option to paint a map in. So if you want the skin to be stickier around the eyes, for example, so it would hold before it pulls off, or wherever. Again, this is just tools for you to drive what you need for your visual effects simulation. But yeah, you can control so many of these parameters by vertex maps and different vertex maps. So you can have one vertex map for stickiness, one vertex map for stretchiness, and you can drive them either by painting them onto the model by hand or by fields, which can be driven by all kinds of things like curvature maps and whatnot. Like you have a huge amount of power under that one little troll down that says vertex maps on every one of these parameters.
So true. Oh, I'm excited for this to be cached. I'm just going to leave this cached throughout. And we'll try to add a couple of other things on top of it, which will be kind of fun. One thing that Seth and I were playing with a little bit for I think it was for a May the 5th, or sorry, whatever, May the 4th be with you episode. That didn't happen because I was sick. Sorry, everybody. But we had some stuff planned for that we never got to show that involved using the volume builder to turn semi-rigid things into stuff that looked a lot more wet. Oh, wait, look at that. Andrew Smith's asking about making it more wet looking, and I agree. Okay, we're almost to the end of this cache.
I've got this Indiana Jones's face looking more wet looking.
Ooh.
I just started exploring using lockdown to melt some faces.
Beautiful. Are you using smear?
I'm using liquify? I've got a layer of smear happening of several instances of smear, which has got your advice a long time ago, and it's so useful for smearing faces. And then I've got a fractal noise and an adjustment layer happening on there. It's so stupid.
It's beautiful, man.
It makes no sense as to why Indy's face would be melting, but it's fun.
It just aged, actually. It's the skincare regimen at this point. Okay, I have this cached, which I really like, Johnny Cached, which...
yeah!
Like here we go.
Amen. Now, if you do, I wonder if you subdivide it, will it make it more...
So if I turn on the subdivision and the thicken, so I have, so I get the pieces again, check these pieces out, it'll run a little slowly, but at least the simulation underneath everything is cached. So the calculation is just the thickening here. But look at this. So the way things tear when they're a subdivision surface look a lot more organic and less polygonal.
The way things tear when they're subdivision surface. Feels
and
dirty,
by the way, I turned the surface of my face here is maybe let's fix it right now. I used the texture as a luminance map, so it'll just look correct wherever, but really it should be, in the reflectance or color channel, but I just didn't want it to look like that because it often looks weird. Pro tip, a really quick way to shift things around in here is you can double click on the texture here, open it up, go to, let's say, our luminance channel, grab that right there and drag it up to the color channel and drop it in. It was already in there, but
I didn't know that.
Would have been fast. So here we go. So now if I use just the color channel and not the luminance, you can actually see the thicken, the way it's, now you can see what's happening. So this is very flattering. Sometimes when you use color mode with an object that's been photogrammetized, I don't know what you say, it looks weird all of a sudden because you're getting this lighting in CG that wasn't what you got when you were there. And in this photogrammetry scenario, I actually tried to light my face like the final result. But in theory, if you want a fresh head scan, you want nice, even lighting. So when you relight it in CG, you get a different result. But the bottom line is, now that we can see the subdivision surface and the thicken happening with some lighting, it's so... just the skin grossness that appears when this happens is lovely. Oh my goodness. Should I cache this? How much time do we have?
We've got 7 minutes.
I'm going to change the total frame range to 100, and then I'm going to dive into here, and on the, what do I want to do? I want to, wait, can I cache these?
Can I cache
Can
it?
I convert it to an alembic? What would be a way to do this? Because I've cached the simulation here.
That's a question for Michael.
Michael, can I cache my subdivision and thicken, or Darren if you're in the chat? Let me see if I could bake as an alembic.
That you can do, yeah.
Exporting alembic. Let's see how long this takes. Let's put this progress bar right in my mouth. Excellent. In the meantime, this week I've been having a lot of fun using generative fill to do really weird things, because one of the things you can do in Photoshop, Photoshop Beta that is create an action that you can run on things. And I've been having a lot of fun. Here's a little side project, bonus project. Boo, 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 boo. Oh, here's where we made the thing. What have we got? Okay, so I had this footage of a ballerina hanging out doing a ballerina thing, and I was able to create a couple of quick actions in Photoshop that basically just took. Let's see. I'll open a couple examples, and I can see right here. I can see on my upper screen how the progress on Cinema is going. So we're about 25% of the way. But in Photoshop here, I just created quick actions that are, don't show me the home page. I don't need this. Some actions that were basically like select the background or select the subject and then run generative fill with this prompt. And so you could do that on every single frame of something like this. And I did this ballet dancer, for example, and ended up with this. So this is it's filling in just after it does a select subject, I then contracted by 1 pixel. So it has the outline. So it knows that there's a human, it determines there must be a human in there. But then it generates a new one for every frame, which was crazy. And the other day I even got it to do, what do we call it? Where did I output it to? Ballet out. Did it render into here? Sorry, everyone, this is boring. I'm just trying to find my things.
Okay, here, we'll go to, I'm trying some things.
Ooh, perfect.
With, it's not going to be any good, but because it's it's not really being very subtle with.
Don't matter. Love it. Love it. Sorry, Indy.
Maybe I copy this. Put this on here. Maybe I do it first. Brrr.
Okay, I'm at like 75%, everyone. This is great. It's like a photo finish. Ooh, so what are you doing there to transition to the bloody face?
It's a fractal. It's just a fractal noise that I haven't really done much to. That's got level on it, levels and an unmult, and then it's using the alpha on the adjustment on the displacement map. So I can also use the same map and with a set mat set to it, so it will. So as it's distorting, it will transition to the next. In theory, it should work really nicely, but it looks a little digitally and stuff. Obviously, I mean, I was never going to get like a perfect result here, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it.
Well, either way, I mean, if you want to do something kind of similar to this, do download that template we mentioned. Off the top, fun. Which could be a lot of fun because then you can just go melt your face or like the face of a loved one or something like that, and then film their reaction to it, and then hashtag VFX and chill that to all the social medias. Right?
Right.
Exactly. While you were doing that, I was trying to see if I can get Midjourney to generate me a little empty stage drawing.
Meanwhile, the template of Doom is linked in the chat once again.
Hooray!
Hooray! Okay, I now have. Ooh, this. I think this is done.
All right. You ready to show it?
So subdivision surface. Oh, did it lose its? It lost my material. Where's my material? Is that what goes on it? There we go. Okay, so I think that this is the baked version now. So we can see it play back a little bit faster.
You could turn off everything else other than that. It's in the scene.
Oh yeah, good point. So I mean that's a pretty gruesome, lovely death. I would love to mix this with some pyro that was flowing down the face. I would be curious to see what happens if you added more stretchiness, because the stretchiness, like, it does add to this waxy feel the way it's building up right now. I mean, these are some cool settings. That even looks like the tongue melting back into there. Okay, I am pleased with the way this turned out. I was worried for a while there in the middle, but I think that this turned out well in a pretty cool way.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it when you're here in the VFX and chill land.
I know we're running low on time, but I just I really want to find one organic element to drop onto this face, and
that's a great idea. It's a mix of techniques.
I've got
situation.
Some blood. I know that I've got a ton of stuff in action VFX. I wonder if like Production Crate blood. Look for something dripping blood. Okay, lots of stuff. Here we go. Bloody slime drip.
Bloody slime drip.
It's not dripping very fast. I could speed it up. Let's get Bloody Slime Drip 2 and Bloody Slime. Here we go. Bloody Slime Drip 1. And now, once they will not there, I'm going to drop it in the lockdown. Drop it in the lockdown.
Woo-hoo.
And scale that down. Let's just like mask it And little trick, alt-click mask expansion, and pick whip it to mask feather, and then type *-1. So then as you feather the mask, it will de-expand the unexpand. What's the right word there? The mask, so that you don't get any edges of the mask. Tint, and let's make it match the colors loosely. I know that I'm taking up our time.
No, that's why they're here. That's why the folks come to this show.
So let's see, this maybe not that bloody drip. Just 2. Let's hold down Shift, parent it there, and get it to be the same size. All right. So 2. Where is it? Where is it?
Where are the things?
Hashi does this when he'll randomly be talking and he'll sound like Ben Kingsley, like the Mandarin from Iron Man 3.
Some weird, like non-distinct, or yeah.
Time stretch 50. Time stretch 10. There we go. Where should this be coming out of? Eyeball?
Eyeball is always good, or forehead.
Not time
Hard
reverse.
to say.
Time stretch. Let's set it back to 40, maybe. Yeah. Not loving how any of these are looking. We'll just scale this one up, and then we'll end the show. So scale, set to 0. And here we'll set it to, it's going to go outside of the UV, but that's okay. It's just for, this is not anything. Oh well. Let's just try it.
Hey, you know what? The folks came here to see how to mess up a face, and I feel like we definitely delivered on some ways to mess up a face.
Honestly, you could get this looking like, if you got enough like practical elements, you could make this look like something interesting. It's got a ways to go for sure, but I don't know. It's not nothing.
It isn't nothing, as it were.
It certainly isn't nothing. All right. That's enough for this week.
Woohoo! Everybody, please do ask questions here on this channel about things that you would like to see demonstrated, and we will try to make all of your wildest dreams come true. Anything else exciting coming up in the next couple of weeks from our side? Michael, do you know anything?
I might be out next week. We'll talk. I just realized that.
Tell all your friends. We want to depress Seth's self-esteem by y'all coming to the show that he's gone for.
Oh, don't worry. The numbers do that for you. Don't you worry. Whenever I'm not here, our numbers skyrocket. No joke.
I mean, next week we might talk fireworks. We might talk who knows what. There is going to be a fireworks tutorial coming out on the Red Giant YouTube channel in probably an hour or so. So if you're interested in
making some awesome tutorials appear on that channel, it's nice to see stuff on there.
And hey, maybe this Monday there may be one from Hashi. Who knows?
Hey, that's a good idea. We should do. I should do one. So Monday, you say? It's a deal.
Monday.
It's a deal.
I know it's about to be a holiday this Monday, but you should tune in anyway. Especially if you're outside the U.S. and it's not a holiday for you, this next week, tune in. Perhaps Monday. There may be something popping up on this Red Giant YouTube channel. And those of you who are watching on other channels, thank you for watching on the other channels. The main chat is happening over here on the Red Giant YouTube channel, but we are also streaming in multiple other locations as well, including the Max on Train Team YouTube channel and the Red Giant Twitch.
Absolutely. And you might say...
And from Mr. Keyframes in the chat, I know it's relatively simple in theory, but what you guys do is next level, so I'm sure there would be more stuff that I'd learn that didn't come to mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keyframes. Oh, I thought that would say thank you. Sorry, my bad.